Reading from the Sri Bhaktis and Sri Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, chapter, volume 2, chapter 4, text 221 and 222. Yathā sakāma-bhaktā bhuktvā tat-kāmitaṁ phalam, kāle bhakti-prabhāveṇa yogyaṁ vindanti tat-phalam. Yathā tat-kālaṁ bhaktir yogyaṁ nasat phalam sañjātam iti tat chuddha bhaktimadbhir vinindyate. Devotees who have material desires first enjoy the material results for which they hanker, and later on the strength of devotional service, they enjoy the true fruit of devotion. But because that fruit does not at first appear, pure devotees decry what those worshippers first achieve. Om Timarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vansha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, greetings from New Jersey, and we'll just put this in context. This is Goloka Mahatmyam. Gopkumar, well, first Uttara, Maharaj Prickett is summarizing the Bhagavatam to her, which means because he only has, the Bhagavatam was spoken in 7 days and he only has a short time to live, he condenses it and tells the same rasa and the same siddhanta in a different story. And we do that ourselves in Bhagavatam class. We may take the same point, but illustrate it in a contemporary way or from another story. And it's about Gopkumar's telling this story to this Mathura Brahmin. As remember, his situation was very similar to Gopkumar. He got a Gopal mantra from manifestation of a deity and went to look externally for what's inside. And it took him to Vrindavan where he met Gopkumar, where Gopkumar said, well, I had the same experience, and my life experience and my story can help you. Again, it's the same point, but it's a different story. So he began to tell his story, how he was ascending to higher and higher planets. That's the storyline. The philosophical line is everything gets inconceivably better, which just shows you how great Goloka Mahatmyam is, how great Goloka is. And right now, he's wound up in Vaikuntha, where his familiarity with Krishna very humbly and compassionately wasn't so much appreciated, because that is the world that's created for people who love God in a very reverential way. And they don't relate to the other aspect of that same person, which is his more intimate side. That's not the part of the person that they're attracted to in terms of a personal loving relationship. They have a very reverential side. Narada takes him aside, and Narada starts to instruct him first how great Bṛhad is, but wanted to give him some Vaikuntha tattva. And he explained the glories of Vaikuntha. And within that was this point that somehow Sanatana Goswami has an objective in writing the book. There's something he wants to communicate to us about the glories of Goloka, because that's the whole objective of the book, to inspire us for that. But we need a frame of reference. And he's really going to, and it's kind of compassionate of him, because he's really going to present that this is Parama Dashantam, the topmost stage of everything. He's really going to present this. But at the same sense, not everybody has that aspiration. And he doesn't want to minimize the love for God that anybody else has. So he describes basically this point we've gone over, and I can go quick with this group. We've all been together, that each relationship with Krishna is complete and infinite in his bliss. It's almost comparing apples to oranges. But, somehow Goloka is higher. It has a diversity, Akila Rasamrita Murti, of loving, deep relationships that are more freedom, not in the sense of liberating yourself from anything bad, but in terms of a psychological proclivity. Like if you have a relationship and Prabhupada's in the room, your freedom to express yourself is checked out of your love and reverence for Prabhupada. You don't walk in the room and just hug Prabhupada and say, "How are you doing?" There's a certain obligations and duties. So each relationship has more and more freedom. And with that freedom, in relationship to Krishna, comes a certain forcefulness of love. In fact, that's the whole essence of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that Krishna comes down because he wants to promote this type of love, because he appreciates it more. And we also appreciate the intimate relationships more, because it's not, even in the CC, it says, love not weakened by a sense of reverence. Love not weakened by a sense of reverence. And again, it's not disparaging. It's just trying to categorize it for what do you mean weakened? Well, when you worship a superior, there is obligation, there is distance, and there is fear. as expressions of that love. But it's not as forceful as spontaneous love, where the object of your love, you have a certain even possessiveness of it. We're going to go on and we're going to find out that each devotee thinks Krishna almost loves them the best. Yeah, actually, they think Krishna loves you the best. Among the Howard boys, they're sitting in that circle, eating their lunch with Krishna. And even though he's in the circle, he's facing everyone. And even though there's so many concentric circles like the world of a lotus, everyone is directly with him. And everyone feels that prema of that kind of closeness. So anyway, Narada explains the Braja, and then he goes into Vaikuntha and explains very different aspects of Vaikuntha and one's relationship with Krishna. And even though Braja is higher, you can't really say it's less in the sense that it's complete and infinite and fully satisfying. And then after explaining Vaikuntha, he wants us to understand deity worship without being confused. And the reason it can be confused is because there are, the word is pratima manda buddhinam. The deity is meant for people who are less intelligent. And he doesn't like this to sit with us. It's just a classic example that if you take statements out of their context, you can't understand them. That's what was wrong. We used to call it folio, where you can go through Prabhupada's books and subjects and folio scholarship. No, we're studying the Shastra like we're studying now. Why I'm spending so much time putting everything in contextually. So what does that mean for the less intelligent? When I gave that example, it's a classic that Lord Chaitanya himself, when he went to South India for his bhajan, for his worship, he carved the deity of Lord Jagannath. He wanted a deity of the person whose name he is chanting to increase his sambandha or relationship with the name, which increases one's absorption in the name. You know, when I wake up before my japa now, I play this Ebaro Karuna Kona Vaishnava Gosai, these prayers to the Vaishnavas. I meditate on offering artik to Prabhupada. And then Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koramoroi. To create more sambandha, create more relationship. It's not just an intellectual thing, it's a feeling. Love is not just intellectual. This is better. I love this person. It's a feeling. And to create that feeling and to deepen our absorption. So deity worship is part of Panch Anga Bhakti, the five most important items of devotional service. Panch Anga Bhakti, yeah, it's so powerful. Oh, but so what does it mean for the less intelligent? Well, the less intelligent can also worship the deity. You can just go into the temple very easily. And some people, it invokes a certain narrow-mindedness in them. It's not the process, it's how people use it and approach it that can be criticized. And one of the main criticisms is not seeing God everywhere and just seeing God in the temple. There was a verse, and actually it's worth me going back and um, one second. Repeating it for a second. One can reach perfection by honoring even a blade of grass, provided one sees within it the presence of the Supreme Lord, or by just uttering or hearing even a faint semblance of the name. So it's criticizing, it's showing what the criticism is, but it doesn't want to diminish the potency of the process, even for people who are advanced or people who are sincerely advancing on devotional service. But it criticized those who don't see God in others, and especially in other Vaishnavas, and just see God in the temple and the deities, and therefore mistreat others. Or it's less intelligent if you just see that the deity is just metal or stone, it's not really God. But still, and these are the verses that we're studying now, if someone is sincere, even if he makes mistakes, even if he accidentally offends a Vaishnava, still, if he continues that service, then he will, or she will, make advancement in spiritual life. And now the last way that it's less intelligent is really what's going to be discussed, I think, in today's class. That for people who are very advanced in devotional service and know what you can get out of worshiping Krishna, understanding that you have a relationship with Krishna and the deity is non-different, their perception with their experience, whether they're judgmental or not, but there's an understanding of it that, because this verse says you have material desires, you worship the deities, but on the strength of devotion, you'll enjoy the fruit of devotion, but it does not appear at first. Pure devotees decry that what those worshippers first achieve. So it does seem foolish. It does seem foolish. Even there's one verse in the Bhagavatam, I don't know where it is, but it's stuck in my mind, where it says that if you worship Krishna, Krishna will fulfill your desires, but that's all for that foolish person, that's all they'll achieve. Because here says that they can become purified. So pure devotees, and now there's going to be a very beautiful exposition for many, many verses, what you can achieve if you approach the deities as non-different from Krishna and approach them with the prayerful mood, not mixing in your material desires or your desires for liberation, but if you worship anya bila shita shunyam jnana karma jnanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakta uttama. Tehi bhakte phalam mulam bhagavat charanab jayo sada sandarshana krida nanda labdhati manyate. Pure devotees, after all, think that seeing the Lord constantly, attaining bliss from taking part in his pastimes, and relishing subsequent pleasures are the fruit of devotional service and its root as well. Purport: achieving the perfection of prema is only the beginning of Vaikuntha life. And after that, a liberated devotee makes further advancement, receiving special individual mercy from the Lord by being allowed to serve him in person and to enjoy in other ways the nectar of devotion. Okay, prema pumartha mahan. Prema is the great achievement. I'm not sure in the purport why they're saying perfection of the purport. But anyway, you can achieve a certain level of love, but that's the beginning. You know, there's a level called Sarup Siddhi, where mentally conceived your spiritual form, Vastu Siddhi, where you're actually situated in that form. Even on the level of prema, there's 8 levels of prema. So this is what these devotees are thinking of, and people are, going before the deities and have this conception that, I'll worship deities, get my daughter married, or I can get liberated, and asking for those type of things. They feel it's like Prahlad Maharaj got a planet greater than his Lord Brahma, Dhruvaloka. But then in the process of doing that, akama sarva karmo va, moksha, asarva karma, akama sarva karmo va, moksha karma udara, tivrena bhakti yogena, yajeta, tivrena. Tivra is like the sun ray is so forceful. It's so forceful, your devotion. But akama, okay, you have pure consent. Sarvaka, you have all desires. Moksha karma, you desire liberation. And so Prahlad was like that. He was worshiping Tivrena in bhakti yoga, but for material desire. And when he got the planet, he said, I was asking for broken pieces of glass. And instead of asking for prema bhakti, the next chapter, when Gop Kumar gets to Dwarka, and again Narada is continuing to instruct him, and Sanatana Goswami, they say we can't even explain how great it is. And it was my turn reading with Niranjan Swami, and I tried to give an adjective, and I said, indescribably delicious. And he laughed because Jagadish was in the class, he didn't understand it. Some things are our culture. Mounds candy bars, almond joy. Indescribably delicious. It's describing, I don't want to describe it because I can't describe it. And why shouldn't it be like that if it's God's absolute reality, if it's God's absolute pleasure? So it's going to describe this now. Napi tatra sahante te vilambam lavamatrakam bhagavan api tanhatum managapi nashaknuyat. those devotees cannot tolerate even a moment's delay in obtaining that fruit, nor can they neglect such devotees for even a moment. So they were saying, yes, you'll attain, devotion after some time, but they're saying, no, we cannot tolerate. This is called greed. Beg, borrow, steal. We want this. We understand. Utsahan. So much enthusiasm. Purport, once a devotee's pure love of God is awakened, he can no longer wait to see the Lord and serve him. In that consciousness, it is difficult for the devotees to understand why others hesitate to take full shelter of prema bhakti. And so he may speak critically of compromised materialistic behavior. So they're practicing anya bilashita shunyam, exclusive Krishna anukulyena, Krishna nu, favorable, please Krishna. Sarvapadi vinir muktam, tatparatvaina nirmalam, rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakta uttama. Nadanam, najanam, nasundarim, kāmitaṁ va jagadisha kamaye, mama janmana, janman ishvari bhavativa. We don't want liberation. We don't want this. Because this fruit, that's faith. Prabhupada said, faith means untrusting, unflinching trust in something sublime. This is the best. It's more than the best. It's the best of the best. And I know it. And I want it. So when you have that conception, then it's just natural. Since I'm here at Totas and everything's very regulated, so I have this very easily, I can have a specific diet and I'm not taking sweets. But then after a while, well, I mean, I'll take a little something, but I couldn't imagine now eating a big piece of chocolate cake or something. It's like that. Your values change. So imagine if you're tasting prema bhakti and then you're seeing, and we have to have these experiences so at least we can start reflecting on some of the things that we're doing in a healthy, reserved way. Like King Kulik-Shekar, when he said, now when I'm experiencing the ever-ending bliss of my relationship, I was a king and I had harems and sex life, I curl my lips into this taste. So is there any reason why these, and you'll see why these people on a level of prema bhakti and getting that taste for Krishna consciousness and then seeing people what they're worshiping the deity for some future materialistically, and they're being purified in the future. We want it now. Ato ñāñati tuchani sarva-kāma phalani muktischa sulabhanyasmat tad-bhaktir natu tadrasi. Thus, all the other fruits of desire are petty and paltry, tuchani, ati tuchani, unlimitedly insignificant. Sarva kama, all these desires. He mukti, indeed mukti. Because from the personality of God that they are easily obtained, but his pure devotional service is not. So now there's going to be a discussion why it's rare. We know in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. At the platform of bhava, it's dulabha. And one of the reasons it's dulabha, but it's going to give another reason here, and I hope we get it today. One of the reasons it's dulabha or difficult to obtain is because it controls Krishna. So he doesn't give it so easily because it's got to be given. It's not that it's not in our heart, but it's got to be watered by the Samvit Ladini Shakti. When we come to the platform of the Shakti, when there's such a concentrated desire for it that God trusts us with it. It's given. He trusts us with it. And our consciousness becomes tatatmika. Tatatmika means like an iron rod in fire. Our consciousness in the fire of Krishna's cognitive and pleasure potency, that's what our mind becomes. It becomes imbued, and that's bhava. And Krishna is so attracted to that. So these other fruits, he says, are paltry, even liberation. And you can get them from God easily. Tat-prasadena bhaktānaṁ adhino bhagavan bhavet iti swatantra hanyeva natam dadyam maheshwaram. By the mercy of pure devotional service, the personality of Godhead, the supreme controller, becomes subordinate to his devotees. This, in effect, deprives him of independence, so pure devotional service he rarely bestows. Purport, pure love for Sri Krishna Deva is more difficult to obtain than liberation. There's this crazy glitch that comes. It's going to take me a second. 1 second. I know how to fix it. But... I'm almost there. Here we are. Okay. So he's talking this at one reason because he becomes controlled by those who have it. So he's selective of those who have it. And it quotes from the Bhagavatam, my dear King Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is always ready to help you. He is your master, guru, God, very dear friend and head of your family. Yet sometimes he agrees to act as your servant or order carrier. You are greatly fortunate because this relationship is possible only by bhakti yoga. The Lord can give liberation very easily, but does not very easily give one bhakti yoga. Bhagavatam 5:6-8. And why? Because he's obliged to give up his independence. For devotees who have prem, keep him helplessly under control. But there are other reasons, and we'll discuss that, which I think are better. Manye mahapreshta jananu vasyata naduka dosha vidaditiko chana kintu pramodan nija bhakta vatsala twadin mahakirti gunan tatotisa. In my opinion, the Lord's coming under control of his dearmost servants creates no unhappiness or fault of any kind. Rather, it creates great joy and broadcasts such glorious qualities of the Lord as his affectionate concern for his devotees. Okay, this is interesting, this purport. We're going to finish it. I'm going to stop at 8:45 because I have another class and I have to go someplace. So we'll do 5 more minutes today. Having recounted others' thoughts on why the personality of God really rarely bestows prem bhakti, Narada now discloses his own. First, he refutes the idea that the Lord wants to avoid losing his independence. He says, what is this, losing independence? That's love. Love means the desire of another becomes the agent for your action. Divine slavery, as Sridhar Maharaj says. The Lord causes no distress for his devotees when he submits himself to their desire, nor by surrendering his independence does he suffer. Rather, these intimate dealings bring joy to the world, entire world, and they spread the Lord's fame for being generous and concerned for his devotees. Because the Lord's submission for his devotees enlarges their mutual joy, it is a source of delight rather than distress. Furthermore, because it increases his glories, it is faultless. So let's find out the other reason that Narada Muni says. Why? And it makes sense. Love in a proper relationship with the proper recipients and the proper object and subject, the proper beloved and lover, both are in joy. It's not a question of agent, because each one wants to give his agency to the other. And this is a reason why, as prema increases, and you more and more see the object of your love as the agent for your action, it's very humble. It's very humbling, but blissful, because that's what love is. If you really, really love, you don't mind to be controlled in love. You know, Prabhupada's disciples sometimes came from very heavy backgrounds and were very heavy people, some of them. But they surrendered to Prabhupada, and he became the agent for their actions, even if they by nature were controllers. Vishesito nagaras shekarasya swaramatari swaguna pavadai apekshaniya paramapriyasa kasta parasi bhagavat prasimna. The way the chief of expert heroes voluntarily submits to his devotees is supremely dear and attractive, because it contradicts his self-satisfaction and certain other of his natural qualities. It's the ultimate perfection of Godhead. What does it contradict? That he's the controller and that he's the enjoyer. Purport: the greatness of God is seen most fully when he becomes subordinate to his servants. In such intimate dealings, the Lord revealed his most special qualities, like his unselfish efforts to give happiness to his devotee. Because the ultimate beauty of a person is his love. A loving person, that's the ultimate quality of a person, his love. And that person who is love is looking to give up his agency to someone in need. How can I serve you? We're a proud person. He never want to give up his agency. Or the disciple. Today I am yours. How may I serve you? This aspect of his personality attracts the admiration of pure Vaishnavas, even when it seems to contradict such features as his absolute status, as his eternal self-satisfaction. A self-satisfaction. I'm happy within myself. No, I require to serve. I have a desire. I'm not self-satisfied. I need to serve that person who's given his heart to me. His effortless acquisition of whatever he may desire, his supreme mastery of the powers and everything. One may learn more about this by studying such pastimes of Krishna as is destroying the pride of Satyabhama is told in Sri Harivamsa. Okay, I'm going to have to stop here because of the day, but now that we're going to get into Mahabhav, so don't miss what's coming up. We do have Jamuna Jaya. You
Hare Krishna Raj. Well, first, thank you for the undescribably delicious. When you said it, I couldn't remember what that was from, and I was like, I know that. I
have to say my tattva of candies, which I stopped, when I was a kid, that was the joy. We would go to the candy store. That was the joy. And for a nickel, get Reese's peanut butter cups. But right now, that would be it'd be like a death knell.
I was like, oh my goodness. But I really love the at the end there, you said the greatness of God is his ability to be subordinate to his devotees. And that's just beautiful. What a great
any
person. Of any person,
right?
Even better. That's the greatness. And so it's such a flip on what the material conception is, what is to be great. Oh, I'm the greatest and I'm above everyone. And here's
in one sense, but it's like if you see a nice couple, right, and each wants to serve each other, you don't look at it as a weakness. You look at it as a strength, that they're willing to give up their independence to see the pleasure of someone else. That's a very beautiful thing.
Beautiful. Yesterday is my 27th wedding anniversary, so I hope to be.
Congratulations. What's your husband's name again?
Jimmy.
Timmy. Okay. Okay. I hope he did something exciting, like take you for darshan of the temple. Something really romantic.
He had a completely vegan restaurant for me, so there you go.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Gail, you can still throw in a question here.
It was just going to be a comment, but Jamuna Jaya kind of stole mine. But I just always like it when the controlled side of Krishna gets emphasized, because we tend to harp more on the fact that as his parts, we are the ones who need to surrender to him. But for him to be the supreme controller, he basically actually also needs to be the supreme controlled.
To be the supreme enjoyer, he also needs to be the supreme control. Because if you can imagine God just playing a flute and everybody's just worshiping him, and that's it. But I make the point that to enjoy love from someone, you must love them. So Krishna must have that desire. And this is going to come up in the next chapter in big time. Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying that for him to be the supreme controller, he has to be the supreme controlled, because it means he has to be controlled by love. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you said it in a different way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Sridhar Swami, that was Prabhupada's godbrother.
Thank you.
And he described it was indirect. And if you didn't know what he was talking about by knowing the Sanskrit of the English terms. He was describing a spiritual experience he had, which seems to me when he attained Baba. And I always remembered, he said, I was the subject and everything was the object. And that's it. In other words, when you're the controller, everything is around you is the object for your enjoyment. So he said, I was the subject and everything was the object. And then he said, then I became the object. And then he said, I was captured. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'll just look through the people. Timothy, nice that you got your camera on. That's nice to see. Thank you. Okay. Haimalata Radha, speak to you this afternoon. Yoga Maya Shakti out of prison for the weekend. That's nice. Krishna Mai, nice to see you. Champa Kamala in Govardhan. You in Govardhan? Okay, anyway. No, she looks like she's in the taxi. I can't see. Okay. Yabat Sundari, it's so nice to see that we can see you. That's great. Dan, great, thank you. Okay, I'm looking at all the different names. People don't have to turn on their camera, but it's nice. Okay, I go on for the rest of the day. Okay, Haribo. Hare Krishna.